Welcome to the Carpool Talk Show with Melissa Plaskoff. Mothers, fathers, nannies, babysitters, and anyone else stuck in the carpool line. This is where you want to wait. And now, here's your host, Melissa Plaskoff.
Well, Sharon Blumberg has solved the creative kids fashion dilemma. She is with us today to share her story and tell us why mismatched does work if you choose to wear shoes. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Well, okay, I want you to tell us, it's Chooze for all of our listeners. It's Chooze, and the website is mychooze.com. What were you doing before you started Chooze Shoes? Or mychooze.com, excuse me.
No problem. I was an interior designer, but I always focused on kids. So ever since I got out of college, I used to paint murals for kids' rooms. I had a whole line of hand-painted furniture for kids. I was a designer of nurseries. I always focused on kids because I've always had a passion for inspiring creativity in children.
Okay, so you were doing all of this. You had your inspiration. You were designing rooms. So what changed? Why did you go from painting cribs to designing beautiful mismatched items?
Great question, because it's something I never imagined that I would be doing. I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys, and then along came my girl, much like you. And as soon as she started walking and when she started wearing shoes, she always chose to wear 2 different shoes. It was just something she did naturally. And I honestly didn't think much of it.
And so it didn't, you're the type of person, obviously you're creative, it didn't drive you crazy. You weren't telling her no. Like me, I'm like, go upstairs and change, everything needs to match and you have to look like, I call it white picket. You allowed the creativity to flow.
I did, and I think because, you gotta pick your battles, honestly, but I think I just kind of thought it was cute. As an artist and as somebody who's creative myself, I always felt it was important to have a little bit of self-expression and, that we should give our kids a little of that freedom. So I just rolled with it, and the more she did it, the more I realized that people would say one of 2 things to me. I would either have mothers saying to me, "That's so great that you let her do that." And to me, it was like, well, I'm just letting her be her. Or they would say, "My kid loves to do that." I have had countless of people say to me, "My child loves to wear mismatched socks. My child loves to wear 2 different shoes." Whatever it is, it's something that I realized was like a need out there, that people wanted to be able to have this option of thinking creatively and dressing creatively.
Okay, so you were looking at your daughter and she's got these mismatched shoes on, and what was your first step? How did you decide to pick the materials and pick the patterns? What did you do?
It's funny because for a while, it was just something that she did, and I started looking for shoes that were purposely mismatched like that just because I thought it was fun, and I couldn't find anything like that anywhere on the marketplace. And so my husband literally walks in the door one day, and I looked at him and I said, "I want to start a shoe company where the left and right shoe are different." And he looked at me, of course, like I was crazy because I had no experience in the footwear industry or any background in the industry at all. And the first thing I did on his recommendation, he had me go out and buy white sneakers, and I painted on the shoes at first. So I decided to just kind of test out the concept, and I gave all my friends' kids like 2 different shoes, or pairs of shoes that were mismatched, and the kids loved them. They thought they were so much fun. So we would have like one that had happy faces and one that had peace signs or flowers and hearts or whatever it was. The kids thought it was so much fun. So I started down this path of trying to figure out how to create my own company where we would sell mismatched shoes.
Okay, so from painting the shoes to launching your first real pair, how long did that take?
It was about 8 to 9 months.
That's really fast.
It was pretty fast. I mean, I was spending all of my hours in the evenings, like barely sleeping at night, like doing so much research, and I just kind of talked to anybody I could possibly talk to that had anything to do with sales and marketing and distribution and production. I mean, just anything that would affect what we were wanting to do, what I was really striving to do. And I met somebody who really sourced kids' shoes for some of the bigger name brands, and we went from there. We started designing our own prints. So, at first my thought was I was going to source different materials that I could pair together, and we quickly realized that we didn't want to do that because I didn't want our prints to be anywhere else. And I started designing the prints. I have an amazing graphic designer that I work with, and we come up with all of the concepts together, and everything is our own.
Okay, so you have designed, let's go through your line. And thank you. You have brought us gifts today, and I know that Annabelle and Caleb are going to love the backpacks and lunch boxes and slippers and shoes. I mean, it's amazing what you've given us. So what are you making? We have clothes in studio. Tell us about everything.
Okay, so we started out with like a little Mary Jane, kind of like this one that I just gave you for Annabelle. And it really, the whole concept was to create a shoe where the uppers could be mismatched, but the outsoles were always the same, because one of the criticisms that I had heard from teachers when my daughter was wearing two different shoes is she was a little bit wobbly. And so developmentally, I had to figure out how to have kids have the ability to have two different shoes, but they had to have the same outsole, because
I would never. That's so interesting. That's such an interesting thought to me, because that makes so much sense.
Right.
Yeah.
She was off balance,
Yeah.
and it affects her growth. And so one of the things I really researched in the beginning was, what does a child's shoe really need to have? I talked to tons of moms, and I did research, and what we wanted to make sure was that every pair of shoes, if you pick up a pair of kids' shoes and they don't fold in half, it means they're not very flexible, and they're not going to give your child the support and the flexibility they need when they're learning to walk, and when, even as they're growing and their feet are growing. You need to have kind of a roomy toe box so that there is some room for expansion of the toes and for growth. And, something that's soft and and comfortable. Obviously, we want comfort. And really, kids, what do they want to do? They want to play. They don't want to be stiff. They want to have flexibility and fun. So we really went down this path of creating. The first collection had Mary Jane's, and it had, then we evolved into sneakers. We did a boys loafer, and then we started to do flip flops, and we started to do high tops. And I really wanted to do a great slipper, because I love slippers. My feet are always cold.
They are so cute, but they're also so cozy.
Yeah, they're super padded. There's great memory foam on the inside. There's a faux fur on the inside lining the entire inside of the slipper, and there's a rubber bottom on the outsole, so they're not slippery, and kids can even run outside if they want to wearing them. We've had so many compliments on these slippers. We did a couple of styles for women. I wear mine every single night.
I've got to get my hands on a pair. Okay, so and then you also moved into clothes.
Yeah, so the next thing I wanted to do is I really wanted to do a backpack, and I had it in my head that we had to somehow take our concept of creatively coordinated prints, like the mismatched idea, and take it onto a backpack. And so if you pick up the backpack, you'll see that there are two sides to the backpack. The straps literally flip from one side to the other.
It's so
and a child
so
has
cute.
the ability to choose which pack they want to show off on any given day.
So smart. So is this like a patented? How does this work? Because I've really never seen this.
Yeah, we are the only company out there doing it.
Of course you are, right? You wouldn't
Yeah.
have it any other way. Okay,
Right.
and then you moved on to leggings and
Yep,
skirts,
so we
shorts,
just-
dresses.
We just launched leggings this past fall, and we sold out of our first batch as soon as we got them. We've now done reorders, refill orders, and we are launching for this spring. Actually, we'll have them in a couple of weeks. We have skirts and shorts that can be worn for, they're activewear. It's all fashion activewear, so it's an athletic kind of polyester spandex blend, great quality material that washes very, very well. And shorts that can be worn for, any sports, really, like cheerleading and dance and any sports that kids are out there doing. And then we have our dresses.
Well, I mean, all of the whole line, I mean, everything you're showing is such high quality, and you're in stores like Nordstrom.
Yeah, we're launching in Nordstrom in all stores in the spring. Locally here in Dallas, we're in Stride Right, and we're in Whole Earth Provision, and we're in
And you're
specialty.
online.
Yeah, we're online on mychoose.com. We
Okay.
sell on Amazon.com and Zappos.com.
So
lots
you're
of stores.
killing it, which is, of course. I mean, this is how you are, though. You go into something, it sounds like, and you were making nurseries and cribs and decorating, and when you have an idea, you give it 110%, right?
Right.
Okay, so you're working with your husband. You mentioned that.
Yes.
What is that like? How's the dynamic in the office and at home?
Oh, it's perfect and blissful
Isn't
all
it?
the
I bet.
time. We never argue. We just get
He
along
always
all
loves
the
the
time.
designs.
Yeah. No, actually, the truth is, of course we have our arguments, and of course we have issues. I mean, we're together all the time. But overall, we both have our strengths and weaknesses, and we know exactly what each of us is good for. So we don't really cross over into each other's roles. I'm really the design and the marketing and PR part of the whole business, and he handles all of the stuff that I don't want anything
Well,
to
he's
do
a
with.
smart man.
Very.
Okay, so
yeah.
let's talk about the way that you are giving back, because I think you realize the importance of helping others. I want you to explain what you're doing to make a difference with your company.
So from the very start, I mean, both of my husband and I both knew and decided that we wanted it to be a business that really mattered, that was going to make an impact on the world in some way other than just for profit, that, you know, it needed to somehow make a difference. So we actually make our difference in several ways. One is our focus, our entire focus of the brand and the entire identity and personality of the brand is all about inspiring kids with creativity and confidence. So we kind of shorten it to say creative confidence, because we believe that both of those qualities are things that, like, when you have creativity and confidence, you can really do anything. You can tackle anything. And it's not, you know, when I say creativity, I'm not just focused on being artistic. I'm focused on creative thinking, right? Any company that's hiring an employee in the future, you know, these children are going to grow up. Any company is looking for creative thinkers, people that are going to be innovative. So it's really this whole idea of inspiring kids to think different, to think out of the box, and to choose to be confident in who they are, and to empower parents to let their kids be kids. Like, let them have a little creative freedom. Let them express themselves. They have so many rules they need to follow. And
No, it's true. We just need to kind of let go of the whole structured world that and I'm that person, and I know and I get it. It's important for their growth.
Right.
Okay, so and what are you doing on the other side of as far as helping others?
Yeah, so our socially conscious business model is called Good Returns. And at the end of each year, we invest our profits into microfinance loans for women in poverty so that they can start their own businesses and they can then empower their children, their communities, and, you know, it's just a cycle that can help grow communities and help children to reach their potential.
Well, I also think that the boxes that the Chooze Shoes come in are adorable because you have the opportunity to color them. They're black and white with different designs, so kids can go on and decorate it with their own creativity, right?
Yeah.
And their own colors, and kind of figure out what they think looks best. And I think that's a really special part of the packaging that you came up with. Well, Sharon, thank you for being here. Visit mychooze.com, and today, if you go online to mychooze.com and enter Carpool 10, you can receive 10% off of anything that they are selling, which is like a huge, huge bonus. So I encourage everyone to do that. And I know that Sharon's daughter inspired her to go out and be creative, and you've inspired me. So I've got to get my hands on some more of these items. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
We'll be back with Carpool Talk Show right after these